Take 3, recorded in March 1972. I really do believe this was Elvis's best version of the song. This song was actually made famous by Willie Nelson years later. The reason why I think it wasn't made famous by Elvis was the fact that he put it on the B side of a single, with the A side being the song written by his friend Red West, Separate Ways.
Now, Separate Ways, I think, probably resonated deeper with Elvis, the lyrics, than the lyrics of Always on My Mind. Yeah, Priscilla was probably on his mind quite a bit, but the song lyrics of Separate Ways, like, there's nothing left to do but go our separate ways, pick up all the pieces left behind us, and maybe someday, somewhere along the way, another love will find us. The emotional heartbreak songs of the early to mid 70s started to dominate Elvis's recordings. And also, you see that huge watch he was wearing with the diamonds? Well, he wore that a lot during the filming, and also in April he wore it, but it didn't quite hold up.
Here, did you take this off or come off?
I took it off.
You did? You start tearing your wrist up?
Cut my wrist.
Yeah, go get some Band-Aids on.
On both sides this time.
So let's analyze the actual audio. Like I said, the first version I heard was the one from Elvis on tour. But when I actually heard the official recording, I was like, oh man, his vocals aren't as good as actually Take 3. Well, I found out what Take 3 was, and that the Elvis on tour was actually to Take 3. Now, I'm not being over analytical, but I just like to share what I notice between the master and the outtake.
Maybe I didn't love you. Maybe I didn't love you. Little things I should have said and done. Little things I should have said and done.
Not sure why the master take was the one that was released, but Take 3, I think you agree, is just sung a little prettier. The chorus in both versions is probably about the same, but I think the ending is way stronger for Take 3.
You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind.
So the problem I think that the song had, because Willie Nelson really made it famous, at least in my eyes. And I think when people think of that song, if you're not really an Elvis fan, you'll think of Willie Nelson's version. So I think the problem that this song had was that Elvis put it on the B side, or maybe Felton. Maybe Elvis he wasn't too, especially in like the 70s, he wasn't too involved with like album covers, we know, and what songs went on what albums, and maybe even in this situation, because he put it on the B side and the A side was Separate Ways. Now, I think Separate Ways was like definitely not as strong. It was a lesser track to Always on My Mind, but his friend Red West wrote it for him. And, Red had some good ones, like, If Every Day Was Like Christmas. Separate Ways was all right, but it's kind of boring to me. If Always on My Mind was the A side, maybe Elvis was doing Red a favor or something, maybe he just really thought it was the better song. But I think a mistake was made by putting Always on My Mind on the B side. If Always on My Mind could have been on the A side, or maybe could have even been paired with Burnin' Love, that would have been like a track like Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel back in 1956, or Don't Be Cruel, Hound Dog.
Alright guys, that was one point I made from the full video of Always on My Mind with Elvis and Willie Nelson. If you want to see the full video, all the points I made, check out Elvis's The Man main page. Hope to see you there.